At Infinity Nation and beyond, we look at the status of your digital landscape and how it affects the growth and profitability of your business. On the show, we will be talking to business leads, partners in the e-commerce world, as well as some of our own specialist team to give you actionable insights and find solutions to help you on your growth journey today. We will consider new ideas, stretch our mindsets beyond the status quo, and in the process discover how to gain an edge on the competition and drive some great results.
Podcast, we welcome David, Head of Client Services from Littledata. Together, we are going to delve into the world of e-commerce analytics, the new world of GA4, and how we can integrate this with the Shopify platform to ensure continuity of e-commerce intelligence as we migrate from the current Google Analytics version into this new world, whilst ensuring GA4 is tailored to your needs. David, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me today.
Pleasure. You keeping well?
Yeah, all good. The e-commerce ecosystem is quite interesting right now, so plenty of things to be excited about.
Yeah, just about to come into a key period. I was winding the team up just this morning. There's 101 days till Christmas.
Exactly.
14 Saturdays to go. So yeah, it's going to be busy.
Exactly. And Black Friday is coming, is just around the corner, and who knows what's going to happen. So it's going to be fun to provide the right data for everything that's going to be tracked.
This is 10 Fridays.
You're quite good with numbers.
10 Fridays to go. Cool. So a big, how do we say it? Change, disruption, evolution. Different people come up with different scenarios or different versions, but GA4 is on its way. So what do you see as the current pain areas with the adoption of GA4? Or some may say it's forced upon us, but and obviously specifically today we're talking about the Shopify platform, just because we know there's a plethora of people out there using what is a great platform. So what do you see as the current pain areas between GA4 and Shopify?
Yeah, very good question. So as we look back at how Shopify worked with Universal Analytics and how Shopify provided a direct connection with Universal Analytics to push some of the e-commerce data and some of the transactional data, with GA4 we see that a direct integration is now missing. So all merchants at the moment have to resort to other methods of tracking their data, tracking their e-commerce and marketing data in GA4, and at the same time ensure that they still have the same data quality as they might have been used to on Universal Analytics. So especially for a lean team where they might not have a dedicated analyst, or they might not have an in-house developer to manage the analytics side of things, it might be a challenge to go forward with GA4 and still rely on that platform as the source of truth for their business, because it's simply not that easy to implement out of the box with Shopify.
Why do you have any thoughts on why it isn't as easy? What's driving that more complicated setup?
Yeah, so essentially the implementation process is quite similar between Universal Analytics and GA4 for any Shopify store if they would want to use either GTM or the Google tag script embedded in the theme file, and then add the events after that. So the process is pretty much the same from that implementation perspective. However, Shopify had a major advantage initially that they developed a direct integration with Universal Analytics, which to me at the moment it looks like Shopify wants to keep more of their users using their existing reports and their current analytics stack, and not really allow them to go out of the Shopify platform for other insights. So to be honest, Shopify's reporting platform for the main transactional details, customer details, revenue details, all of those are fine. It's just that when it comes to linking that with actual customer behavior data and with actual marketing data, that's where the challenge comes in, and we need a better platform to dissect that data.
So I suppose just if we want to just purely stay in the Shopify ecosystem, we're saying we're not having that full enriched picture.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. And what's the any view on why what's driving Google to make this change?
Very good question. So it's quite interesting because Universal Analytics has been around for quite a while now, and it basically it was the go-to platform for most e-commerce managers or the most analysts to start collecting data and start having a baseline of their current business. So having in mind that we are actually at the moment we are also moving full steam ahead towards a cookieless future and leave third-party data behind, Google had to revamp their product, and as more of their existing Universal Analytics users started using other platforms for reporting, it's basically its analytics service had to be revamped and had to be redesigned in a way that it could give users both a new look and new tools to check on the health of their business. So with this new and improved platform, which includes features which were previously available only with Google 360 and more ways to customize your UI with reports specific to your type of business, were quite required for Google required from Google to implement them because they were kind of losing perhaps too many users to other platforms.
And I suppose with the original Universal Analytics obviously wasn't their proprietary piece, right? They inherited it, or they bought the business and then started offering it for free. So I'm assuming this is now for them a scenario that they've built from the ground up in its entirety.
Yeah, it's a very interesting way of putting it, but essentially, yes, and Google had the chance to work with a lot of experts worldwide to make sure that the new product, which they will release and they have released already, is something that will be used more closely and will add more value to users all across the world. And what's interesting is that, again, a lot of the features which were available with Google 360 are now available with GA4 for free, which is quite interesting because Google 360 was quite a big revenue driver for Google before this, and it still is.
Yeah. I suppose going back to time, and we spoke earlier in the call about, it's 100 days tomorrow till Christmas. 10 weeks, 10 Fridays till Black Friday. Why do people need to take sort of action now? We're 9 months away from this rolling out. What are the downsides or the risks in terms of procrastinating this or putting this to the bottom of the to-do list?
Yeah. So at the moment, GA4 does not have a feature or a function to import data from Universal Analytics, meaning that there's no way to create a reporting view to look at your business in GA4 as it was being recorded in 2020, let's say. And as we all know, in July 2023, Universal Analytics will stop working, and all Google Analytics users will be forced to rely on GA4 from that point onwards if they still want to use the Google Analytics platform. So naturally, the sooner you start collecting data and the sooner you implement GA4 tracking on your Shopify store or on any website, you will have more historical data to look back on and compare. For example, right now we're in September. From September until July, you'll have quite a few months to look at data in both Universal Analytics and GA4, compare the reporting side of things. You'll have enough time to get used with the interface and create the custom reports that will, or the Explorer reports, which you'll have available in GA4, and you'll simply be ready for getting the most of the platform from July onwards.
You make a really interesting point there, because we encouraged all of our clients back in June to have GA4 on, so we had a year-on-year comparison.
Yeah.
So it's tracking in both scenarios. So when we come to July 2023, we can say what happened this time last year. So we had a year-on-year comparison. But yeah, you make a really valid point, and one that I suppose I hadn't overtly considered, is what happens to the Universal Analytics historical data in the new world. And I think, if I understood what you're saying correctly, is it's not available to you. It's a bit like migrating from let's say a Magento website to a Shopify website, but you're not carrying any of your purchase history data forward.
Yep.
That's a massive loss of intelligence, especially given we've been through a tumultuous 24 months, really. And actually, sometimes we still need to go back and look at 2019 to say, what was a normal world pre-COVID, but possibly pre the Russia-Ukraine war? And so, yeah, I hadn't really contemplated that we'd sort of covered the year-on-year comparison, but if we wanted to look at a trend over recent years, that potentially isn't available to us, or it's much harder to decipher because it's in two different worlds in two different views.
Yeah.
How does a solution like,
as at the moment, we know that in order to have complete tracking in GA4, you either have to use Google Tag Manager, which is quite a bit difficult to implement and quite cumbersome to maintain, or you have to use a third-party solution, which more or less is still going to be reliant on GTM. And for an e-commerce business, and for an online store, to be more precise, there are a couple of events which are very important and are crucial for your marketing and e-commerce team to be tracked in Google Analytics in order to really know what are the pain points, where you can bring further optimization to your funnels, and how well your business is doing from a sales and marketing perspective. And implementing those events with Google Tag Manager can be a bit cumbersome. You do need an expert to do it, and it will require maintenance with every single update that you bring to your store. So our solution is very straightforward, in the sense that you don't have to use Google Tag Manager, or you don't have to use any third-party scripts, or not even the GTEC script that wouldn't have to be implemented yourself. And Littledata will add the tracking automatically as soon as you install the Littledata Analytics app on your Shopify store. This process is fully automated, and we use a combination of client-side and server-side tracking to ensure that all of your e-commerce data from Shopify is properly linked with the customer and marketing data and pushed into GA4 with the 100% throughput level. So this way you can actually trust that all of your data collected in GA4 is 100% accurate, and you can actually build accurate exploration reports based on that.
So in synopsis, what we're saying is it just shortcuts a lot of pain and setup.
Yeah, it was a very long explanation.
No, I think it's good to
really quick.
Yeah, I think it's good to understand the full intricacies of it. But again, just sitting here listening and thinking for our clients, it's like, to de-risk loss of intelligence gained over historical years, we need a data warehouse to suck that into. So that, for me, it's a business asset, is retained. And so what we're saying is Littledata can help absorb all that Universal Analytics historical information into a data warehouse. But it can also ease the pain of the setup and ensuring that integrating it with Shopify is done correctly and accurately and capturing that data. But then it's going to give us a unified view, enabling us to look historical and futuristic. So as we progress into the future, we have a wider vision of trends historically.
Yeah, so essentially we have an out-of-the-box solution to use server-side and client-side tracking to capture all of the customer touch points which are available on the Shopify storefront and the checkout behavior, and link that with marketing.
Any others?
Of course, it's one thing to have the right data about your attribution, which is again something that Littledata will provide, because we track all of the conversion events server side. So the entire checkout funnel is tracked server side. So there's no data loss. There's no way for our events to be blocked in that process. And you're always going to have that 100% match between the source and destination data. But also with GA4, another thing which I'm super excited about is the sheer flexibility of the entire platform. As I mentioned before, with Universal Analytics, you had a set of predefined reports and you were kind of stuck with those. And if you wanted something more bespoke, built for a business, you had to use either Google Data Studio or other reporting tools. With GA4, you actually have the way to and the means to create the exact reports that are relevant for our business. So let's say, for example, if you're selling products by subscription, it's quite important for you to understand what's the retention rate, what's the lifetime revenue, what's the cost of acquisition, and these are not reports that you would simply have with Universal Analytics out of the box. So with GA4, you can create these reports, and Littledata can actually send the relevant data to populate those reports with the LTV, with CAC, with the purchase counts, and so on.
Okay, that's powerful.
So for CFO, it will be an even better better news because you can actually see how much money you're spending to make money, and if your business is healthy.
No, I mean, I think that's key, and those are some key metrics we're always pushing businesses to know.
Yeah,
because those are the key economics that you really got to focus on in terms of investing, achieving growth, and knowing that you're building a profitable business ongoing. Yeah. Any other key points you want to raise around sort of GA4, Littledata, Shopify?
Yeah. So one other thing which I want to add is that with Littledata, you don't only get a complete tracking solution and a complete connection between your Shopify data and GA4, but you also get plenty of time to test it. We offer a 30-day free trial for any plan, and the connection fees start only from $99 per month. So it's quite a good value for what you're getting in terms of the data quality and data capabilities.
Excellent value, absolutely. Brilliant, David. Thank you so much for your time. Great to hear the insights from you and hearing more at the coalface what we're expecting from GA4. Good and some challenges there, I think, but it's
definitely
setup is key.
Yeah.
And migrating historical data into a data warehouse, I think, is a fantastic tip and something that we need to make sure that everyone is doing.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time. Speak soon.
Thank you for having me, and have a nice rest of your day. Bye.
And take care. Bye.